What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about Faraday Future. I want to go over some of the current data points, what shorts did, as well as what Faraday truly needs to happen in order for it to move up. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So throughout the trading day, it did go down 8.29%. After hours, extending it slightly, but very little volume aside from that one big transaction right here. Clearly, that is linked to shorting. But when it comes down to Faraday, today at least, and I guess more so over this last week, it has been kind of just piggybacking off of GameStop. This post on Reddit is a very good representation, even on a intraday level, how it just follows a lot of the meme stocks. So you do see the charting for GameStop, AMC, Hologram, and then Faraday. So shorts are ingrained in all of these day-to-day activities on all these stocks and many more. One thing that I just wanted to bring up before I get into shorts and a lot of the data points is this. So pre-market, it did have a nice spike up, and that most likely was market makers covering those 50-cent options that did expire in the money. As I've said with you in the past, that is a very good way to really kickstart a gamma squeeze. The last week was kind of low volume, so it wasn't that big of a deal, but coming up next week, there's a substantial amount of volume. So once again, when it comes down to in the money options, market makers often enough have to go to the secondary market to buy shares because they don't have those shares of risky stocks, volatile stocks readily available. So they'd much rather just go to the secondary market and most of the time buy it pre-market. So this is where you do see a nice bump up in the stock price. Imagine if you had a cult-like following such as GameStop. The only big difference between Faraday, for instance, and GameStop is GameStop, it seems to be more kind of hardened investors, if that makes sense. Faraday, as good as a lot of people are on here, such as Reddit and even social media, a lot of them you can tell are generally newer to investing. So when a stock goes up and down 20%, that might make them have quite a lot of gray hairs and might give them anxiety and want to just panic sell and whatever else. So all in all, if you're having market makers being forced to buy, and imagine if retail continuously bought, this is how you do kickstart a nice bump up in the stock price. And when it comes down to Faraday, today there was very little volume, 83.5 million shares being traded, 349 is the average. Even just looking right here, you can tell based on the momentum indicator, retail has been getting out. So clearly when it comes down to Faraday, they're just losing faith. And like I've said, I think a lot of this had to do with more of a squeeze aspect and momentum play rather than people investing in the actual company itself, because I think the underlying operations is not necessarily the best. So again, I think a lot of people getting into Faraday is kind of hyped up, and then they look into the company itself, and maybe that is a big deterrent. I'm not really sure. The company, like I've said in the past, can really help, and one way that they can help is by putting out news, more specifically associated to kind of fighting against naked shorting, because as I pointed out a couple times in the past, they've alluded to a lawsuit. Supposedly, they've already done their preliminary search and they used to share intel. I think that initially was done in September or October. They did another update in December, but since December, they haven't done anything. So that would be absolutely amazing for the company, or just free and clear from the NASDAQ, right? Because right now they just got a stay, so it's kind of just in limbo a little bit. But if they do get a good green rubber stamp from the NASDAQ, that again is more operational updates that a lot of retail investors can kind of get behind and go up higher, and as a byproduct of that. So that's just my thoughts on Faraday and what's really been happening behind the scenes. Like, if you are investing in a meme stock such as Faraday or GameStop or whatever floats your boat, it is a very big psychological mindfuck. Pardon my French. So if you are new to investing, it's definitely not for everyone, so do your own due diligence at the end of the day. When it comes down to shorts, though, they did increase 3.85 million shares. 10.66% of the free float is being shorted, so Faraday, for the most part, is holding its 50-cent mark, and because I did say in the past that is a very strong point that shorts want to bring it below. So shorts are continuously increasing, so you do see a good level of buying behind the scenes, enough to obviously keep it above 50 cents. It is still on the threshold list, and it has been continuously on the threshold list since, it looks like, I think it was May the 9th, give or take. So in theory, I know I brought this up in the past, just in case you guys haven't seen or new to the channel. In theory, any company on the threshold list, normally the SEC should be interjecting after 13 consecutive trading days and going to these market makers and getting them to rectify the deficiency. But obviously, we have well past the 13 days, so it is fair to assume that the SEC won't be doing anything. I've seen a couple of people in the comments saying that they've actually sent in complaints to the SEC in regards to Faraday, so I highly suggest you guys doing that. I think they mentioned that there's a form that you can complete online, so maybe that might help potentially behind the scenes rectify all of that, but still something to keep in mind. Utilization 92.87, cost to borrow average is 13.95%. Looking at the options though, more specifically the open interest, you do see for this week 9,000 currently at the open interest at the 50-cent strike price, 17 at the 1, and then it's kind of free and clear. But like I said, next week, that is the monthly equivalent option, so expiring June the 21st, this is where you see a ton in open interest. So if Faraday somehow can light a fire under its ass and get its stock price up there and close above, even if it's $1.50, $2 by the end of next week, this is where you could really kickstart a very, very epic gamma squeeze, which in my opinion would just escalate the whole squeeze aspect behind the scenes. So let me know your thoughts on Faraday. Just to give you a quick overview, with it sitting at roughly about 55 cents and change, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. I know when it comes down to momentum stocks, it's not really relevant to look at a lot of the strong support and resistance points, but 49 cents is going to be that next strong support, and then 61 cents is going to be that next strong resistance, which it kind of did break above temporarily today. So just keep all this into consideration. So let me know your thoughts on Faraday. Give yourself a shout out in the comments if you have been buying, if you have been selling, and have you been doing options? If so, let me know your thoughts on like a strike price and potentially why you think it will be going up to wherever you see fit. So let me know your thoughts. One final thing, definitely take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account for $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. One of the best deals in the market. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.